Our manifest destiny is to overspread the continent allotted by Providence for the free development of our yearly multiplying millions. This is a quote from John O'Sullivan in 1945. He was a editor in New York, writing an essay about the current Mexican-American War, and also just talking about westward expansion, which had been around in America for some time, pretty much since the beginning, or at least since the Louisiana Purchase. Um, so he was the first to create this name, Manifest Destiny, and a couple years after, it was turned into a symbol, a certain painting by John Gast. And so this name and this symbol gave Americans looking to expand west something to grab onto as far as a name and kind of a mission in going west. Um, and so that's the abstract view of what Manifest Destiny is that it was created by John O'Sullivan. But there were obviously many good reasons, many sustainable economic reasons for people moving west, whether that was young single men um, going out to California during the gold rush and trying to mine gold, or if it was groups or families moving anywhere in the West to establish farms and obtain land that way. And then there were other industries supporting those two, whether that was railroads being built or if it was other industries creating tools to support farmers and miners. And so there was a great economic boom for these people to go out west and to obtain possession that way, or obtain success that way. And so, with that, it's always kind of seen westward expansion and manifest destiny is always seen as kind of individual ambition and individual accomplishment, or families, great accomplishment, which it does take a great deal for an individual to go out there. But it's not really viewed or summarized as the government supporting westward expansion pretty much the whole time, all the way through. The development of railroads was a huge exponential growth of westward expansion. Um, the acts that allowed uh, these railroad companies to build on these lands and the removal of Native Americans from these lands or the murdering of these Native Americans was also a huge part of the railroad building. And so this part of the government and any kind of act like the Homestead Act gave uh, came from the government first and then helped individuals make a life for themselves into the West. So it was obviously supported by them to expand the government or expand the country and to achieve success for these individuals. The actual accomplishment of Manifest Destiny being connected from the East Coast to the West Coast was accomplished after the Mexican American War and the signing of the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty. Um, the treaty being at the end of a war was obviously to end the war, but the other benefits that came were that Texas became a state and that California became a U.S. territory. Um, prior years, just prior of the war, uh, the U.S. offered a certain amount to Mexico for the California territory. It was rejected at the time, but with this treaty, they did purchase the land, but for a much lower price than what it was valued at a couple of years before the signing of the treaty. And so that was the accomplishment. We made it from the east to the west, um, but I don't think the character or the summarized character of the American government and America as a whole was worth the expansion to the west. It does. I mean, it provides what we have today, and our nation wouldn't be what it is without it. But it was a great compromise to be responsible for the murder of millions of people, mostly Native Americans, and also in the West having their own struggles with Chinese people. There were certain individuals who committed murder against them, and then eventually there were immigration acts preventing them from coming and getting gold the same way America was just trying to get over there, and how American individuals were trying to build something for themselves. So it was the building of what we have in our nation today, and what over half of our nation is and has accomplished. But it came at this great cost, and not sacrifice for America, but great cost of many lives and cultures for us to move west.